the Muss be chugging along on Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles. Eric Musselman going to interview at USC, yes, the University of Southern California, for their open basketball job after Andy Enfield left to go be the head man for SMU. It's kind of been that year for Arkansas a little bit. I mean, going back over, who would have thought just last year with the portal class they signed, all the expectations, a lot of people had them as your preseason national champ, favorite to go to the Final Four, especially after the exhibition against Purdue that they got the win in the preseason. Who would have thought Eric Musselman may not be the coach? Who would have thought he isn't going to be the coach in Arkansas? At Arkansas. Just a weird last week. I mean, it all started with Hunter Yurachek posting that video that was spliced, I think, like 3 or 4 years ago after an initial contract extension. They cut that up. It was Hunter Yurachek on the bus, one that looked like one of the university buses you see on all campuses, looking corny, it's totally scripted. Muss, he says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And Muss is like, "Come on, welcome to the Muss bus." Something like that. It's essentially what it is. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen it. Sounds like Eric Musselman and his party, his camp, did not like that. They didn't get approved. They were kind of like palms up defense a little bit. Like, what was that? Why are we posting that? I've not agreed to a contract extension, to us staying here. Then Hunter Yurachek gets on a meeting or an interview the other day, and I want to read you the exact quote. Let me find it. He talks about, here it is. That was the video that was, quote, recorded a few years ago, quote, by Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD. That video was probably 30 or 40 seconds in length, and we edited that down. I had our communication staff edit that down. As you guys alluded to, Coach Musselman, much to his success, has been rumored for multiple jobs that have been open here in the offseason, and he's still the basketball coach as I sit here today and record this podcast at the University of Arkansas. He's been well taken care of in his past contracts. We just alluded to that, where he's had a couple of extensions in the past few years at 6-figure increases. There's not a new contract in place for him this year, but that video was just trying to dispel some of the rumors that, hey, he's still our basketball coach. That wraps up that quote from Arkansas AD Hunter Yurachek. So that's what we talked about. There's not going to be – now, things could change, maybe. Things can always change. It didn't look like they're going to offer him a new contract. And I don't really blame him. I mean, Muss had the leverage last year after the Sweet 16 appearance after they're the 8-9 seed. I forget off the top of my head. Then beating Kansas in the second round in Des Moines to get to the Sweet 16, ultimately lost to UConn. But in a year they really struggled due to injuries, with Nick Smith not being out there and Jordan Walsh really not coming on until the NCAA tournament last year. They weren't hitting their peak till the end. But that had been his third straight Sweet 16, and he'd been to two Elite Eights previously, the 2 years before that. So it must have been on fire. But that contract, to be fair to Hunter Yurachek, and I was texting a bunch of buddies being like, this is dumb. They're going to extend this guy off the biggest disappointment in college basketball this year. No, you don't give him an extension there. Because usually I'm one of those guys. I think ADs get taken to the woodshed by agents. Guys like Jimmy Sexton, not specifically in this situation, just the primary college agent that represents the coaches for most of college athletics, college football specifically. That's who came to my mind. Those guys take these college ADs to the woodshed, to the back of the prison yard. I mean, it's ridiculous how much upfront money these guys get. Applaud to Hunter Yurachek. I know a bunch of these Arkansas fans make, what an idiot. Well, why would we not renew it? And I know some people are going to be agreeing with me a little bit. Hey, twisting your arm a little bit. Maybe there's no hard feelings. I'm sure there's a little personal vendetta, especially with the video being released and Muss's party kind of being like, are you trying to force my hand here? But Muss is going to interview in Los Angeles for the USC job. Now, anyone who follows college basketball knows Arkansas is the better job. But I'd heard through people close to the program that he'd been reaching out to some group of 5 teams too. That was about midway part of the season before it was officially like, hey, mathematically we're out. But he kind of saw the writing on the wall. We know all the rumors. We're not going to go into that. Devo Davis being on and off the team, Trevor Brazile being on or off the team, not being around the program for whatever it is. I don't know if you brought in too many personalities from the transfer portal, but it is what it is. Was what it was. Arkansas was for sure, but what is true is Arkansas was for sure the biggest disappointment in college basketball this year. I think Muss saw that writing on the wall. It may be some disagreement with the big money people, the big donors for the NIL. Maybe he's wanting some more money, and they're like, hey, look, dude, we gave you money. You signed one of the best, if not the best, transfer portal class, and where'd it get us? We made it to the second day of the SEC tournament. Biggest disappointment in college basketball probably in a while, last few years, if you talk about preseason expectations. So I don't disagree with Hunter Yurachek here. If Muss wants to walk, you let him walk. And if he wants to walk, that's fine. Again, Muss is a program builder, elite marketer. He does a phenomenal job getting your program out of the depths. Not that Arkansas was just in the total depths of hell when he took over the program, but he turned them into a national name and in the national spotlight. Big marketing guy, corny, cheesy, whatever you may call it. You may like it, you may not. We're not going to talk about that, but he's a massive marketer, promoter for the program, does a good job for that. But again, he's been a mercenary everywhere he's been. He's kind of been in a couple different NBA jobs, a couple different college jobs. He really has no ties to Arkansas. It's just a great college basketball job. And he saw an opportunity and until this year really took advantage of that. Again, 3 straight Sweet 16s, 2 Elite 8 appearances overall from that standpoint. I mean, what's Muss's overall record here? Eric Musselman on 1-11 and 59. Like I mentioned, 2 Elite 8 appearances, 3 trips to the NCAA tournament, 3 straight Sweet 16s. Obviously missed it this past year. But from a Southern California standpoint, I've heard his mom lives out there. She didn't get to see him much. I think she saw him in their Elite 8 matchups. Well, I think 2 years ago when they played Duke in San Francisco. But she didn't get to Fayetteville much. And she lives in the LA area. You don't have to do the math or the mileage. She could get to a lot more games in downtown Los Angeles at the University of Southern California's campus than she could in Fayetteville, with him saying maybe he sees the writing on the wall. Like, you know what? Bridges have been burned with Hunter Yurachek, the AD, and some of these big money people. Muss has got a big ego too. All these big time college coaches have big time egos. I heard his buyout dropped $1 million, so it could be affordable to USC. If he's going on the interview, I fully expect USC here at some point. The AD at USC said she was wanting to hire a coach with head coaching experience. I know we hear that a lot, but a lot of the stuff's lining up. I'm not ready to say he's he's for sure going to be the next head coach at USC, or he won't be in Fayetteville next year. But you know what? I'm going to say I'm not certain he's going to be at USC this year, or he's not going to take the job at USC. But I don't think he'll be in Fayetteville. I think it's too far gone. Too many bridges have been burned. Can you imagine the awkwardness if he comes back? I mean, we got the AD on there essentially saying, hey, if he wants to leave, great, but currently he's our head coach. And I've heard behind the scenes, Hunter Yurachek, he's already got his guys lined up. We'll talk about that in a minute. He's already got some of his guys lined up on who would be his next hire. So I think he's kind of like, look, dude, this guy's not strong-arming me into a contract extension and making us get on our hands and knees to beg him to stay off one of the worst performances, underperforming Arkansas basketball seasons when you factor in, like I keep saying, the preseason expectations in a very long time. We're not giving you a contract extension. Muss missed his boat last year to do this. And that's on him. But again, he just has the right as well, just like anybody else, to go look into that USC job. It could be closer to his mom. He's more of a West Coast guy. He's from California, we've mentioned. And like he says, he probably sees the writing on the wall here that things aren't in good standing with the big money people, and probably a little bit things have gone a little sour with Hunter Yurachek. But from an Arkansas standpoint, if Muss leaves, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about this stuff until the seat is vacated. But you know what? Screw it. We're going to talk about it a little bit here. Just some 4 guys that kind of come to mind. One probably being a wild card for a lot of people here. I mean, obviously Chris Beard, current Ole Miss coach. They did the undefeated in non-con. Took a little bit of a dip in the back half of SEC play, but he'd be a phenomenal hire for Arkansas. I think a lot of Arkansas fans may be like, I may take Chris Beard over Eric Musselman, but I think he's obviously a guy you got to call. Jerome Tang at Kansas State, he would be a guy really making his name off last year's big NCAA tournament run. Will Wade over at McNeese State, the former LSU coach. I mean, what he got in trouble with at LSU is now illegal. So don't be surprised if he doesn't get a call either. And the guy we all saw on a TV set this week, we all saw him on our TV throughout the NCAA tournament, former Villanova coach Jay Wright, I think would do a phenomenal job. He's deserving of a call. I like Chris Beard here, though. Me personally, I like Chris Beard if I'm Hunter Yurachek. But I just wanted to bring up some names. We're not going to dive deep into that, but I would just like to bring up some names. But again, I know some people are like, hey, we're not going to talk about that until Eric Musselman or just in general when coaches leave. But, we're going to throw that out there. But if Chris Beard doesn't get a real call, I know people probably are like, well, his Ole Miss team kind of quit at the end of the year. That Ole Miss team wasn't uberly talented, and he had them in the NCAA tournament bubble conversation for the whole season. They didn't lose a non-conference game. Granted, they beat the NC State team that's in the Final Four. Will be playing in Phoenix on Saturday. Again, not totally advocating for Chris Beard. Maybe I am a little bit. I just think he's a phenomenal basketball coach. It's just, can Hunter Yurachek get over what had happened in Texas? Because he had Texas, the number 2 team in the country, when he got let go for his domestic violence charges. But again, that's not my decision to be made. I know how I would feel. I was one of the few people that said Ole Miss should hire him. And I thought they went about it a great way. They announced it during the week of the NCAA tournament. No one really cared. He started winning. It was really never even talked about. Now, as he gets up to bigger jobs, the microscope's bigger, the brights are lighter at bigger basketball schools like Arkansas. It's going to be brought up a little more. But again, it is what it is. These guys are paid to win. These guys are paid to win. So if I'm Hunter Yurachek, I'm going after Chris Beard. That's who I'm making the call to. And from an Eric Musselman standpoint, I think he's going to be gone. I think he's going to be gone. A lot of people aren't willing to go out on that far of a limb yet. I think I am. I mean, I just think all the writing's on the wall. I just think it's a big sour taste between him, the big money people, Hunter Yurachek. He's going out into interview. I mean, that's publicly out there, and he's the sitting Arkansas coach. They're saying he's working hard in the portal. I mean, maybe he is. But again, his mind's not 100% there. So make it for a real awkward 2024-2025 season, in my opinion, make it very hard to recruit from that standpoint. I know you're building a team, but again, he's going to get behind in the transfer portal. And I know it's not how he wanted to do it, but he had a chance to get ahead on it because they didn't go to a tournament. They didn't have a tournament appearance. So he had an extra opportunity to get ahead of the game on that. But just wanted to go over that. Hunter Yurachek got a decision made. I'm sure he already has his guy. Probably had some feelers out already, but to me, I'm the AD at Arkansas. I'm going Chris Beard. I do think Eric Musselman is going to be gone. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's going to be USC, probably leaning that way, but just wanted to bring up these topics. Fun time of year. Transfer portal's rocking and rolling in college basketball. We're having some coaching dominoes continue to fall. But again, hey, SEC Unfiltered, we're bringing you SEC content 24/7, 365. Still talking college basketball, coaching changes, portal. We got Alabama playing in the Final Four against UConn this Saturday in Phoenix. We got SEC baseball rolling on its fourth weekend. So we got things rock and roll, spring football wrapping up within the month. So we got a lot of content coming at you. And again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I promise you, you don't want to miss any of this.